All right.
Okay.
That's what it would sound like if we slowed it down. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear this.
Yeah, they do. This is another episode of Not Suitable for Adults. It's a podcast where we keep you coming back for all the gut-busting laughter. It's all about this first few seconds, I think. Natalie disagrees.
I just don't have anything to say about that. I mean, I know I'm over here just busting my gut.
Yeah.
Always.
And I'm Rich.
I'm Natalie.
And you know what? We're gonna flip flop it. I've been going first. I think the last couple of weeks, and Natalie's gonna go first this week.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So earlier today, we were hanging out with our super cool niece, and her name is Clara. She is 5. She will be 6 in not too long, which is
really soon.
Insane to me. She's in kindergarten.
They grow up so fast.
She's our oldest of our nieces and nephews, and it's just crazy to think that we have a niece that's in kindergarten. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So I was asking her, I said, what is your favorite TV show? And she said, it's Archibald. And her mom, Jenny, Rich's sister, said that's Archibald's next big thing on Netflix. She loves that one. I was like, oh, okay, because I've seen that. And I think Cora has watched a couple episodes of it, but hasn't been super intrigued by it yet.
Right.
But Clara is a year older than she is. So Clara kind of said it was her favorite.
Clara kind of forecasts what Cora might be into soon sometimes.
Yeah. So I watched some of Archibald's next big thing.
Okay.
And I kind of just looked at it. It's pretty new. It came out in 2019. There are 2 seasons on Netflix. It is a Netflix original, and it is made by DreamWorks.
Okay.
So you know it's going to be pretty well animated. And it really is. I like the way they animate a lot of it. So Archibald is a chicken.
Okay.
And he's tall, he's like a person-sized chicken. And he's skinny. So he's very, he's like a human chicken.
He's a chicken, but he's still a cartoon. So, he's still sort of designed after a human.
Right.
With a chicken aesthetic.
Right. And he, everybody talks. He has his friend B, who is a bee. B-E-A.
Oh.
Who is a B-B-E-E.
A B-E-E?
Yes. That's his friend, and she, B-E-A is usually a female.
Yeah, I guess
derivative
usually.
But they are super cute. They fly around. Sometimes they have those little, if you're drawing a bee on a piece of paper to indicate that they're flying, you draw the little dots behind
lines,
them.
Yeah.
Sometimes bee has those little dots flying behind
cute.
them, and it's pretty funny. They also wear glasses. B does.
Okay.
I think B's just very cute. B really helps Archibald out when he's, out of his depth or doesn't know what to do or is struggling with something. B's always there kind of as his loyal little sidekick. So the format of this show is that Archibald is very adventurous and very enthusiastic and very clumsy and very just kind of clueless. But he's clueless about the world, but very excited to explore the world.
Gotcha.
So he just kind of wakes up every morning just really excited to just see what the day brings him. The show is narrated by Rosamund Pike.
Okay.
And he Archibald talks to the narrator. So it's a very stranger than fiction. Like, if you all know the movie that has Will Ferrell and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Emma Thompson, it's very stranger than fiction-esque because he will listen to her talk and sometimes respond to her.
Oh, okay.
As she's narrating what he's doing.
We just watched Stranger Than Fiction the other day.
We did,
so
and that's why
top of our mind.
That's why it kind of came to my head. Archibald is played by Tony Hale.
Okay.
Who, if you're not immediately coming up with who that is, he's Buster in Arrested Development.
Oh,
the youngest brother. He I believe came up with this. It's his baby. Archibald's next big thing is Tony Hale's thing, and he voices Archibald. Archibald and his 3 siblings live in a large egg-shaped house. And it's interesting to get through different floors. You go down like a slide or a ladder or a pole. Like, it's just very whimsical, the house. His sister, her name is Loy, and she's a scientist mind. She has a lab coat on, and she's doing a lot of scientific type things. He has a brother named Finley, and he has on like sunglasses and headphones, and he's just like kind of chill. Like, he's the music guy that like plays the guitar, and he's just like chill and just vibing.
Okay.
He's got the cool vibes. And then he has another brother named Sage, and he's kind of dressed almost Boy Scout-like.
Okay.
He's got green with that kind of kerchief on and khaki shorts. And he's also kind of like, he's outdoorsy, kind of almost military-like. And he is voiced by Adam Pally, Pally. I don't know if that's Polly or Pally. I'm not exactly sure. But I know him from the Mindy Project.
Okay.
He's one of the doctors. He's the funny doctor in the Mindy Project. And he has a really distinct voice. So that's why he kind of stood out to me. It's a super cute show.
Yeah.
It's really funny. There's a lot of quip in it. Some one-liners. Like, at one point, Archibald is in the sea, and he's swimming around, and he says to the whale, "Don't eat me," or "I thought I was going to eat you," and the whale goes, "Eat raw chicken? That's dangerous." It's really cute, and there are a lot of aspects about it that are funny for the older in age people that are watching it. And then it's bright and colorful and slapstick funny for the younger age. It doesn't have like a lot of educational, like, when I say educational, I mean like you're not going to learn a lot. Not a lot of educational value, but what it has is kind of like a life value kind of element to it. So it's really good for, he solves problems. He is very curious, and that's something we all want to teach our kids, to have a healthy curiosity about our world. He embraces, when things aren't going well, he finds a solution and doesn't, he doesn't blink, really. He just goes, okay, well, how do I figure this out now?
Right.
And he's super open to new experiences every day. He's not afraid to seek out challenges and to seek out things that he doesn't know. So I like that about him. He's very clumsy and clueless, but he's very courageous in that way, where he's just ready to take on the world, and it doesn't matter if things go wrong. He'll just figure it out along the way. So I recommend it. I don't know if the littler kids, when I say littler kids, I mean like under 5 or 6. I don't know if they would appreciate it as much, but like I said, our niece Clara, she is going to be 6 soon, and she really likes it. And maybe it's a little too little kitty for the older kids, but...
So there's like a gap in the baby range, and there's a gap in the like preteen range.
Right.
But it's good for those like younger like early elementary school kids.
Yeah.
And also parents will
have fun.
It.
Yeah. If you're like me, obviously, not a lot of people are like me, but but it's not going to be something that's like super annoying. And every once in a while, you'll let yourself have a little chuckle about it. And
Gotcha.
Stuff. So, Archibald's next big thing. It's on Netflix. It's really cute.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll need to watch some of it because it sounds like it's a good one.
It sounds like, I think it's something that you would enjoy watching with Cora.
Cool.
I'm like I said, Cora may still be at that age where she gets bored with it kind of quickly, but I mean, we could try it again. I think it's been a little bit since she really paid attention to it.
Gotcha.
There it is.
There it is. Definitely worth a watch, sounds like. And now it's time for an activity. And I think you said you also have an activity for us.
I do. From a website called Good to Know.
Okay.
So we like our show we keep our show, clean. We don't talk about anything too adult because we want you to be able to listen to us in the car with your kids if you need to. They're not going to be super interested in what we're saying, but this website, this little part, your kids may be interested in listening to.
Oh.
So buckle up because here's some fantastic facts that your kids might find very interesting.
Can't
and you
wait.
might find interesting as well. So put on pause, grab your kids, and let's learn some facts together. Okay, so this is from Good to Know. It is illegal to stand within 90 meters of the Queen without socks on.
Okay.
And this was updated just last month.
Okay.
So these are up-to-date facts.
You said within 90 feet.
90 meters, sorry.
Because it's
because it's yes, this is a goodtoknow.co.uk.
So it's okay.
Yeah. Australia has the most amount of reptiles in the world, over 750 different species.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Australia also just kind of has all the most interesting and unique animals, I feel like.
Yeah. I've never been interested in going to Australia because of this fact.
Okay. Yeah, you're not a big reptiles
I don't
fan.
do reptiles. The Queen has 2 birthdays.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's all it says.
I wonder if it has to do with like when she
was born, and then when she came was presented or something. I don't know.
It's maybe either like one, obviously, hopefully, is the day that she took her first breath in this world. I hope that that's one of her birthdays.
You mean when she was born?
Right. Well, the thing is, we're talking about birthdays, and so normally that would just be the day you were born, but clearly that's not quite the case. So hopefully one of them is that, and then the other one's maybe, but then everyone would have that. I was going to say maybe because she's baptized, or maybe it's when she's presented, or maybe it's when she receives her queen name. That's considered a birthday.
Not sure. If you guys listening,
I know we have listeners in the UK.
Yeah. Put this on pause.
Yeah, no, think ahead to the end when we tell you to tweet at us.
Yeah.
Do that right now.
Let us know why the Queen has 2 birthdays.
Why does the Queen have 2 birthdays? We're not going to Google it. You're going to Google it and tell us.
And let us know. This is something I did know about tomatoes. Tomatoes and avocados are actually fruits. I don't think I really thought about avocados being fruits before.
That makes sense.
But tomatoes and avocados are fruits. We have unique fingerprints, and we all have unique tongue prints as well. There are more stars in space than there are grains of sand on a beach. Now, I don't know how big that beach is, but it's a beach. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think we can agree that's a lot.
No matter what beach it is.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Horses and cows sleep standing up.
Okay.
That's why... Yeah. I'm a country girl. I never have done this before, but a lot of people I grew up with would go like cow tipping.
Yeah.
And if you people that are listening that don't know what that means, it's literally when the cows are sleeping standing up, you go and you try to push them over in the fields.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous and it's also kind of mean.
I never did it. It would take only 1 hour to drive to space.
Yeah. I knew not that specific fact, but space is closer than it seems.
Yeah. Slugs have 4 noses.
All right.
It is impossible to lick your own elbow. Now most of the kids that are listening to this are now attempting to do it.
Because it's not, now it's not true. That's not actually a true fact. Did you know that? That fact, no. I know people, I've seen people lick their elbow.
Okay.
Not impossible.
Freaks.
I think that's one of those facts that was invented to do and now 90% of people who just heard that are trying to lick their elbow.
A hippopotamus can run faster than a man.
Sure. We just watched Jumanji.
Hippos are terrifying creatures.
Yeah.
You think they're really cute because they look like kind of cuddly and because they look round. Dopey, but no, they're absolutely terrifying and extremely deadly creatures.
Always remember that.
Yeah. A crocodile cannot stick its tongue out.
Oh.
Water.
It'd be dangerous if it could. It'd be biting its tongue all the time.
Yeah, right. Water covers 70% of Earth.
Sure.
Pigs can't look up into the sky. It is physically impossible.
Whoa.
Now, I'm pretty sure that I've done a couple of these before on this podcast.
But,
okay. The shark is the only fish that can blink with both eyes.
Wait. What?
Maybe the other ones take turns blinking or don't blink at all.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like not an impressive fact because we can all blink with both eyes, I think. My first thought was like, so what?
But it's the only fish.
I guess that's a big deal to the fish.
Yeah.
The fish are like, man, my eyes are so wet all the time. If only I could blink.
An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Sure.
Kangaroos can't walk backwards.
There's a lot of interesting things about the way that kangaroos move.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a thing about kangaroos on Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
They also can't move their legs independently of each other.
Right. They go in tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can't walk.
No, they're constantly going parallel to each other.
Yeah. So they're either kind of rocking forward.
Yeah.
Or hopping forward, but they can't walk.
Right.
That's just crazy.
Yes.
Thank you again, Australia.
We learned a lot of things about kangaroos just recently at the zoo. I took Cora to the zoo and there was a kangaroo there that had a joey in its pouch. And it's just so interesting to me, kangaroos and their birth.
I'll say this. I'll say this about our zoo. We obviously, so we're in the Nashville area. We don't have like the best zoo in the whole world. We'll just like that's an obvious thing because there's
it's
great
made a lot of improvements.
Zoos. They've made a lot of improvements lately, and I'm not getting down on them. I'm just saying this isn't me saying the Nashville Zoo is the best zoo in the whole world, but I think that the kangaroo exhibit that we have is one of the best zoo exhibits.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've ever seen or heard of anywhere.
Yeah.
You actually get to, like, just so you know, and if you are in the area and you've never been to this zoo, you should check it out. So at the kangaroo exhibit, you get to, like, walk through a path, and there's just, like, a dozen kangaroos. Mm-hmm. Like, young, they're not big, they're not like the threatening ones you see sometimes in, like, videos.
Yeah, they're not going to come up and punch you.
They're young, and they're smaller, but they're just chilling out. They're out there in the sun, you kind of walk through, and if they're close enough to the path, you can pet them, mm-hmm. and there's, like, 3 or 4 people in there who are telling facts about kangaroos, and it's just so different from, like, normally you walk up to glass or a cage, mm-hmm. and I don't know. It's a very personal exhibit, and it's really cool, especially for the younger kids. That's, like, one of Cora's favorite things.
Yeah, she loves the kangaroos. I'll just do a couple more of these because we've been doing it for a little bit. Your nose and ears continue growing for your entire life.
Oh, good. Everyone's favorite thing about themselves. Noses and ears.
Yeah. Number 4 is the only one with the same amount of letters. Oh. 4, F-O-U-R, has 4 letters.
It's very special. It's a very special number.
Let's see.
That's also only true. I mean, it may be true in some other languages, but it's also only, like, true because we're speaking English. Because Quattro doesn't have.
Frogs drink water through their skin.
Ooh.
A pet hamster, because I'm sure several of you out there have a pet hamster. I think that's gross. I don't know why somebody would want a pet hamster. Cora asked me if she could have a pet hamster. I was like, no, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, there's a handful of pets that, and I know you're about to tell a fact, but there's a handful of pets that Cora's like, can I have, like, another good example, a fish?
Or she also said the other day, can I have a bird? I was like, no, we're not getting a bird. That sounds terrible.
There are some animals, like, and listen, you might have a bird, and it might be great.
You guys might have a bird. You guys might have fish. You guys might have hamsters. That's cool.
But from our experience, birds and hamsters and guinea pigs, all they do is make a mess.
Mm-hmm. And get lost.
And I've said, even though I love, like, fish are beautiful to look at, you can't do anything with them. They're purely decorative. They're not really even pets. And I've joked, and maybe this is kind of a dark joke, but, like, I always joke, if you got a fish, you might as well just flush it.
A pet hamster can run up to 8 miles a night on his wheel.
Ooh.
So they're fit and trim little guys.
Good for them.
How many more?
However many you want, babe.
The average yawn lasts 6 seconds.
Jeez.
Did that just blow your mind?
Yeah,
and now I'm thinking about yawning,
long.
And it makes me want to yawn.
See, that felt like 4 seconds.
I did not time it.
I was timing it.
No words in the dictionary rhyme with orange. I think everybody knew that.
Right. Let's do one more.
Okay. Owls can't move their eyeballs.
Okay, and that's why they have such crazy range of motion.
Yeah. So there.
Fun facts.
Fun facts for you and the kids.
Please don't hold what I said about fish against me. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's fish feelings.
Well, I said hamsters were disgusting and birds were a terrible idea, so...
That's true. Now I feel better.
Now, we can say what we want.
That's great. I love it. Let's go to Promoville.
Okay, dokie. What?
Okie dokie.
Dokie dokie.
And we're back from Promoville.
What are you going to tell us about today, Rich?
Thank you for asking, Natalie.
Go.
You throwing it to me?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about Kipo again. And here's the reason why. it's one of the rare shows that I was like, I'm going to go ahead and watch this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And this is a behind the curtain thing that isn't obvious. But a lot of these shows we don't watch all of. Like most of them, we don't watch all of. So,
well, if we don't like them, we don't.
But there's even been ones like, that we like that we're like, oh, that was fun. And we watched a few episodes or something. And I feel like it's just not usual that we...
The only things we watch fully are the ones that Cora really likes, and that's not all the things that we talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple so far that I've found on Netflix or found somewhere that I've decided, yeah, I'm going to watch this whole thing.
Yeah, we both watched The Hollow.
We both watched The Hollow all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched She-Ra all the way through, and I decided to watch Kipo all the way through because I was enjoying the animation. I was enjoying the story.
That's the one with the beasts.
Yeah, Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts. And
that was the one that still in my brain, they're just so funny looking. The frogs. It's like a gang of frogs.
You know what's...
In my brain, I don't know what the image is that I'm thinking of, but it is hilarious.
I'll show you afterwards. No, I'm going to show you right now. Why not? I think let's see, Kipo frogs.
I wish I could think what I was thinking of.
Here we go. This is what they look like.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of. That's exactly.
They're really funny. So, the thing I didn't know when I talked about Kipo last time, because I'd only watched like 3 or 4 episodes, it seemed like the frogs were going to be sort of a main deal, and they're in it throughout the whole thing, but they're not like anything approaching the main villains of the story. There are all these factions of types of animals that we meet throughout the story that have adopted sort of a single aesthetic. And so, like, the frogs are these sort of mobster, all-black suit dudes and ladies. Our heroes meet a tribe of cats that call themselves timber cats. And they're all dressed in flannel.
I love it.
And they're all like lumberjacks. Or maybe they're lumbercats. I can't remember I may have said the wrong thing.
Timber cats would also be good.
I remember...
Lumbercats.
Yeah.
Are not as fun. I would hope that they were called timber cats. I like that better.
I'm wondering if timber cat... I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those two.
Timber wolves?
I'm thinking of timber wolves. But lumbercats might be more right because they're like lumberjacks. They dress all in flannel and they carry axes.
Are you thinking about Thundercats?
No, but they reminded me of Thundercats, and that's what makes me think it was lumbercats.
Okay.
So, and there's a bunch of these. There's like a biker gang that's a bunch of skunks.
Okay.
There's a group of narwhals that look like they were... Yeah, I guess they're just narwhals. I can't remember if it's narwhals and like also a whale and a dolphin, or if it's just narwhals or not. But they're like a K-pop group.
So each of these groups of animals have taken on their own persona.
Yeah, and yes, and so interestingly, but what's funny about them is that they've all chosen the same thing.
Right.
So like they've all committed to their own bit. Which is very fun. And they all sort of have different goals in the world, and some of them want to work with Kipo and some don't. By the end, Kipo has created a group called the Human Mute Ultimate Friendship Alliance.
Are they mute?
No, mute is mutant. That's the...
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like can't speak.
No, the animals that are able to speak, that have become humanoid...
Yes.
In the world, they call themselves mutes.
Okay.
Because they're mutated. And so they call that HMUFA, HMUFA, the Human Mute Ultimate Friendship Alliance. And by the end, Kipo is very like, this is a very Kipo thing, like creating acronyms and nicknames, and like everyone's like, Kipo, we don't have time for this.
The Ultimate Friendship Alliance seems like 3 words you didn't need altogether.
Yeah.
Those are 3 words. You could have said just alliance would have helped that ultimate friendship. You know, the ultimate friendship is, what am I saying? It goes under the category of alliance.
Yeah, if you have an ultimate friendship, you're allies.
Yes. Well, I guess you can be allies and not be friends. So it shouldn't need to, so maybe ultimate is the word that I don't like in this.
Yeah.
Friendship alliance.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's all good.
I'm just pulling apart this what's it called?
So I want to give a brief synopsis.
Acronym.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the word. Okay, go ahead.
I want to give a brief synopsis without spoilers.
Okay, yeah.
Of Kipo, because all 3 seasons of this show came out this year. I think I said that last time we talked about it. And this is it. It's over.
So people probably, even if they started it, may not have finished it.
Yeah, so it's conceivable that you haven't seen all of Kipo if you were watching Kipo. In season 1, we talked a little bit about this. Kipo's been separated from her people.
Right.
She's sort of traveling through the world trying to get back to her burrow that she was raised in. And towards the end of that, they meet an enemy whose name is Scarlemagne, and that's all I'll say about Scarlemagne.
So like Charlemagne,
right? But with scars.
Gotcha.
So they meet Scarlemagne, who is a mute.
You keep saying that, and it makes me think that they can't speak.
I know it gets a little confusing, but he's a mute.
Okay.
And he's enslaved a bunch of humans using pheromones.
Okay.
And so they meet up with him, and also, I can't give away some things that are happening for Kipo in her story too, but things are developing for Kipo. In season 2, Kipo is trying to rescue the humans from Scarlemagne. And she's learning more about these. She's going through some like not normal human adolescent girl changes.
Okay.
What I mean is they're not she
magical.
Has she has powers. And so she learned,
like, it's not like regular puberty,
right?
She's having some magical changes.
Correct.
Okay.
And so she's learning more about that. She's trying to connect with more people. She does find her way back to her dad. And we sort of get more of her backstory through her dad in season 2. And in the 3rd season, there's just a giant clash between the mutes and the humans, and things don't necessarily wash out the way that they appear. Going in, you sort of have an idea of who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, and that gets muddled and changed before the end. But some very cool stuff happens in season 3. That's mainly about like trying to get the Ultimate Friendship Alliance like assembled, so that to keep from having to go to war, basically. But of course, ultimately, there are bad guys that need defeating, and that's
need defeating.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I like it a lot.
And the full name is
Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts.
Fantastical Creatures and What to Do with Them.
No, false. It is another DreamWorks thing, which we were talking about a second ago. Archibald, also DreamWorks, I think you said. And there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about from a character perspective and sort of reception and all that stuff too. One thing is I said that there was a reminiscent thing in this between Kipo and the She-Ra characters. Not that the animation is the same, but there are things about the shows that feel like they run together. One of those things, it turns out, is the voice of Kipo is Karen Fukuhara, who's the voice of She-Ra's best friend Glimmer, in She-Ra. And so I was hearing that voice, and it's very similar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, they deal with a lot of the same sort of issues. It's very coming of age. It's very like the teenagers sort of having to understand all of their powers and all their abilities and make the world a better place. So there's thematically very similar things. I wanted to call out the music in this show is freaking great. Not just the background music, which is excellent, but there's also several original songs that different characters like perform throughout it. And then so it's like there's one that Wolf, who is the younger raised by wolves girl that Kipo finds, that kind of becomes like their friendship anthem that we hear come back several times.
I wish I had a friendship anthem.
I know, right?
Wouldn't it be cool if I was like walking up to my friend and then suddenly like an anthem started playing out of the air, and I was like, "Hey, good to see you." Oh, hey, here's my other friend, and a different friendship anthem.
Right? Yeah. It's really good. It ranges on, looking at the description on Wikipedia, it says it draws on an eclectic mix of musical styles from folk to classical music to hip hop. And it's very good. So, and it looks like I don't know if there's more of this, but apparently there is a first season soundtrack and, album, which is Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts season 1 mixtape. And that came out earlier this year. So, maybe, oh yeah, and season 2 was released in May. So there's probably a season 3 mixtape coming too. Music, very good. As far as the reception, I'm going to read most of this directly off of Wikipedia because it really does sort of sum up, the things I like about it. So the first 2 seasons of Kipo have a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. One reviewer described it as a must-watch, writing that it joined the likes of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Gravity Falls, and Steven Universe as a series with a broad appeal to many age groups, and highlighting its music and art design. She-Ra I've heard of Gravity Falls, not super familiar with it, and Steven Universe is one that has been requested of us. I just have to find where I can watch it. But those, just so y'all know, are on the radar. Another reviewer noted Kipo's similarity to some other recent female-led animated portal fantasy series like Amphibia and the Owl House, and described it as a classic in the making that drew on cultural touchstones such as Fallout, The Warriors, The Island of Dr. Moreau, Planet of the Apes, and Alice in Wonderland. And then there's also, I mentioned, I think last week, or the last time we talked about it, that it's also part of this sort of trend, a positive trend, I think, of sort of doing inclusion really well and representation. It's part of the like if you search for like representation, there's like a representation collection on Netflix. And this is one of those. This is another reviewer appreciated that beneath the standard fantasy exploration quest, the series is a vibrant mosaic with a unique world, multidimensional character relationships, and deeper underlying plot that's between the mutes and the humans. And also that apparently the handling of the character Benson, who comes out as gay, there's a moment near the beginning where Kipo sort of has a crush on him, and they have to have that discussion. And something that apparently was very well received, and I appreciate it as well, is that that's just part of Benson's character. It's not like they don't keep coming back to it as a point of conflict. Mm-hmm. It's just, here's a person, here's a thing about them, and we just sort of accept it and move on. Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, nice. Like, I like that better than continuing to go to that as like they said, like a source of conflict or mm-hmm. because it should just, I mean, it's just a part of Benson. So,
right.
So they've gotten a lot of positive buzz from that as well. Overall, like I said, the main thing about this show is like this young girl sort of finding her way in the world and coming to terms with where she comes from and her family and her place in the world. It's very, I love by the end they're constantly talking about, there's this moment where someone says like, who wouldn't want to to have like power and rule the world if they had the chance? And everyone goes, Kipo. Kipo wouldn't want that. Like, that's why Kipo's the best. Is Kipo's all about just like, let's find some harmony among us and then move on. Like, even though she's she becomes such a figurehead for the people in the world, she's not looking to rule it. Even though there are moments when she could sort of take up that mantle. So I dig it. I like Kipo a lot. It is worth a watch. It's, I think I've said this before, but I think it's Y7. So it's going to be for the slightly older, pre-teenaged kids. But I think anyone over that age would have fun watching the show.
Cool.
So this is a shorter episode of Not Suitable for Adults.
That's okay. We're both very tired today.
Yeah, it's that time of year where there's just a lot happening. We're already...
I mean, not only is there a lot happening, it's getting darker earlier. And so it feels like it should be like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock when really it's like you look at and it's, oh, I guess I should make dinner now.
Right.
Like, because it's only 6 o'clock. You know, so.
It's also worth mentioning, we'll have to figure this out, but it occurred to me that our anniversary episode will release. We originally released that before we had set a schedule of like trying to always release on Monday. So our anniversary episode is actually going to release on our anniversary day, which is November 30th, which is the Monday after Thanksgiving. And so we'll figure out how that's going to work, but we will have an anniversary episode on November 30th. So don't worry. And that's still a couple weeks away. So
yeah, well, figure it out.
Just don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at NotForAdultsCast, or you can email us at notforadultscast@gmail.com. And we really, really, really do want you to reach out to us in those places, especially if you know why the Queen has 2 birthdays.
Yes. We're not going to look it up.
No, I'm not going to look it up. If I never hear from one of you, I'll never know why that's true. But if you do share it with us, we'll give you a shout out on the show. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and reach out. That's really all I've got this week, I think. Make sure you share the show with someone you love or someone you don't love. Maybe this can be the way that you form an Ultimate Friendship Alliance.
I love that.
Yeah.
We bring together Ultimate Friendship Alliance.
We're making Ultimate Friendship Alliances left and right, baby.
Okay.
All right. So as you're getting into Thanksgiving time, you're going to be eating lots of food. You're going to be seeing hopefully lots of people, obviously, hopefully also safely, because it is still important to be safe with your breathing and with your being
be
around
safe
people.
With your breathing.
Breathe safely. Just don't forget, no matter what, you're still the boss.
So watch whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.